Hello and welcome to The View from the African Regional Conference 2015. I'm James King, the banker's regional editor, and I'm joined today by Hugo Smit, who is the head of SWIFT's Sub-Saharan African business. Hugo, thanks so much for your time today. Now, one of the big themes this year obviously revolves around the ongoing progress on the regional payment systems across the continent. And you've recently penned an article in which you argued that perhaps the lack of regional payment integration has impacted trade, particularly between African businesses and African countries. What kind of improvements now are we seeing in the trade space as these payment systems become more efficient?
James, thanks for the opportunity. My argument is that underlying any transaction and any trade, there has to be a payment mechanism. And the more efficient and cost-effective that payment mechanism can be, the more trade will be stimulated. The one is a prerequisite of the other. It's like having a road. If you don't have a road, there won't be cars. And this is the same thing. So in my view, the fundamental requirement to improve intra-Africa trade is to have a sound and cost-effective payment system. And in this regard, having regional trade, being able to have regional payment systems are very important. And Africa is very unique in that respect. There's a huge initiative in SADC, in the Southern Africa Development Community, for a regional payment system, which was implemented and actually went live in July 2013. It continues to grow. It has now just over 70 commercial banks participating in it, and it was announced this morning that since its inception, it reached a settlement value of 1 trillion South African rands. So this was, it's an indication, it's a confirmation, and in fact, there is regional trade taking place in the SADC region, and pre the regional payment system, these settlements had to take place through correspondent banking, which was not necessarily efficient, not necessarily cost effective. So again, there's a road, we can see the progress. Similarly, in East Africa, the East African community, consisting of Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, have developed a East African payment system that went live in November last year, or November 2013, and it's steadily progressing and picking up more and more trade and volumes. We are going to, during this conference, get updates from delegates from the region specifically, the progress that's been made, their experiences. I think East Africa is particularly unique, also recently announced that they allow cross-border mobile payments through M-Pesa from Kenya to Tanzania. And clearly this works not only on trade, but then on remittances in the movement of smaller value monies through mobile mechanisms. So clearly lots of progress leading up to bringing Africa together. And on the western side of Africa, we've got 4 countries, or the Western African Monetary Zone, which consists of Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. And they have taken the initial steps into integrating. Their strategy was to focus on establishing their own payment system, RTGS systems initially. And that has now all been achieved. Nigeria's RTGS system has just been implemented and been in production for 16 months now. We're going to get views from them as to what their experiences are and how they see the need and the way forward to harmonize and integrate the trade for those countries.
Now, looking at the success of the payment system in Southern Africa for SADC, right now it's geared towards sort of higher value payments, I understand, but you're moving now towards perhaps looking at lower value retail payments. How much progress is being made there?
Well, from a systems point of view, the system is ready and capable to handle low-value payments. There has been a regional operator, has been appointed, or is available, has applied for it. It's a matter now of, again, there's a road and people starting to use it. I think this, to me, this could be a huge enabler of economic growth. It will enable people to do remittances cross-border within SADC. It would enable companies to have could enable companies to have direct debit facilities, enabling the collection process for the services they provide. And ultimately, I believe this could lead to increased financial inclusion. Just being able to access a payment system clearly has to have benefit for the population and ultimately for economic growth.
Now today we've also had a session on issues around compliance, and this is obviously a big theme as well for this year. What were the key conclusions that came out of the discussions today?
I think the compliance is it's on top of the agenda of all the banks, on the regulators, and again in Africa we've had unique approaches to solve a number of these challenges. So there's a case study that was discussed this morning where Nigeria adopted a community approach to ensure that all their banks are compliant or meet international compliance standards. The feedback from the governor, from the deputy governor from the Central Bank of Nigeria was what were their motivation, and clearly it was to ensure open and free trade and money transfer between Nigeria, flowing into Nigeria and also flowing out of Nigeria. So by working together as a community, collaborating, Nigeria actually, in my view, leapfrogged a number of their counterparts internationally. Within a period of 3 months, they moved from an environment where it was difficult to determine the level of compliance. So within 3 months, they are at a level where all the commercial banks now meet an internationally recognized level of compliance. Absolutely leapfrogging, I think, what is very difficult to achieve in other countries. So that's a very good case study, a lot that we could learn from that, the role that the central bank and regulator played in that, and the benefits that was derived for the commercial banks as well as the regulator. Going forward into the session, into this conference, there's also other sessions where we are going to look at aspects that's sprawling from the centralized compliance, which is very much focused on anti-money laundering at the moment, to look at correspondent banking relationships, to look at the impact that compliance have on risking, or compliance requirements have on risking and correspondent banking relationships. So it's going to be very interesting.
That's great. And obviously it's a big role here to play for SWIFT and also for the regional payments systems as they become.
I think our role is particularly huge here, being an independent facilitator of discussion, enabling and providing solutions that's of mutual benefit for the entire community. And I think we are recognized, certainly in Africa, in that role. This conference is just a testimony to the role that we can play to bring a community together. We have more than 400 delegates here representing more than 40 countries. And you will see during the next few days how the people network, how they exchange information, and how they share experiences and learn from each other. Certainly we've got a big role to play in bringing the community together, and want to play a big role and ensuring that we have a strong community and that we provide greater collaboration across the community.
I look forward to hearing more about this over the next few days, but in the meantime, thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
It was lovely. Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, James. Thank you.